You got cut off for giving your opinion about the Democrat Party and what they're up to.
That there is one party in America that opposes voter ID. There is one party that opposes verifying signatures, verifying citizenship, verifying residency, verifying voter eligibility. That party is the Democrat Party. And you don't take these positions because you want an honest election. On the contrary, Mark, you don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at transparency because you have nothing to hide. When you take these positions, you are welcoming fraud. You are welcoming illegal voting. That is a fact. That is basic common sense that every American citizen can understand, and that is the posture of today's Democrat Party.
Why else would they be spending the last year with hundreds of lawsuits trying to change all these safeguards from signatures, signature comparisons, postal marks?
In Philadelphia County and Allegheny County, that's nearly 700,000 votes that were counted with no observers watching. And when you had Ronna McDaniel read to a press corps that was sitting there watching an affidavit, a sworn, signed affidavit from a woman named Jessie Jacobs, an employee of the city of Detroit for decades, assigned to work in the elections department, who says, I directly observed in the city of Detroit election workers and employees coaching and trying to coach voters to vote for Joe Biden. They did not ask for a driver's license. They did not ask for a photo ID. And I was instructed not to look at any signatures. I was instructed not to compare signatures. And I was improperly instructed to predate absentee ballots. That is read to a press corps when, in fact, in Philadelphia County, it is illegal to open a ballot before election day. We had people, and there are multiple reports of this, contacting voters in Philadelphia, a predominantly Democrat area, saying, hey, we've canceled your ballot. We see you did not submit a secrecy sleeve. Come cure your ballot. This was happening in Philadelphia. It's not happening in Republican counties like York and Adams and Perry. This is systemic. It goes to the very heart of our election. When some voters are treated one way, urged to come cast a provisional ballot, and other Republican voters will just throw your ballot out. No effort to cure the process.
You violate the Equal Protection Clause when your government in the state is fixing certain ballots. Contact the person who voted and fix it. And then in other parts of the state, they have no idea what you're doing. It's amazing how this conversation we had is barred in so many places, isn't it?
It's amazing. And all we're doing is reading the text of the Constitution, case law, and asking questions. At the end of the day, let's hope our justices and our judges do what they are mandated to do, listen to the Constitution.
I'm back with Sidney Powell, who is part of President Trump's legal team in contesting this election.
There has been a massive and coordinated effort to steal this election from we, the people of the United States of America, to delegitimize and destroy votes for Donald Trump, to manufacture votes for Joe Biden. They have done it in every way imaginable, from having dead people vote in massive numbers to absolutely fraudulently creating ballots that exist only voting for Biden. We've identified at least 450,000 ballots in the key states that miraculously only have a mark for Joe Biden on them and no other candidate. If you look at Florida, where things were done right, you can see that that's how the rest of the country should have gone. But they also used an algorithm to calculate the votes they would need to flip, and they used the computers to flip those votes. We have got to fight tooth and nail in federal court to expose this abject fraud and the conspiracy behind it, and get a recount and audits in every place it's needed, which is, frankly, most of the country.
You have a list of numbers of ballots with only Joe Biden on the ticket. You say it's 98,000 ballots in Pennsylvania, 80 to 90,000 in Georgia, another 42,000 in Arizona, 69 to 115,000 in Michigan, and 62,000 in Wisconsin.
We're getting reports of all kinds of fraud. We've got multiple states that didn't even follow the rules of their own legislature. That's a federal constitutional issue. There are at least 3 major federal issues here that will require the Supreme Court to resolve this case.
I know that there were voting irregularities. Tell me about that.
The computer glitches could not and should not have happened in at all. That is where the fraud took place, where they were flipping votes in the computer system or adding votes that did not exist. We need an audit of all of the computer systems that played any role in this fraud.
I've never seen voting machines stop in the middle of an election, stop down and assess the situation. I also see reports that Nancy Pelosi's longtime chief of staff is a key executive at that company. Richard Blum, Senator Feinstein's husband, significant
shareholder. I never dreamed the day would come when I would be in the United States of America and there would be censorship. If they take away your right of free speech, what are they going to take away next? 1.6 million absentee ballots, a record. Was it double voting? We got to investigate it. People registering in Georgia to vote, then changing their registration to another state to vote. Was there double voting? We look at Detroit, record turnout by people that are in excess of 100 years old. I don't mean to judge the results of the investigation, but I know that there's got to be one.
You know, he is resolved to preserve and defend and protect the U.S. Constitution and our rule of law. Like his oath of office instructs and requires him as the President of the United States, he is willing to say, regardless of the outcome, we want to make sure that we have a fair and accurate count. He knows that this isn't just about the outcome of his election, it's about the outcome of every election in America in the future.